Come on in. My name is Bill Tobin, and this is your restaurant success tip of the day. I'm dealing with a guest complaint from earlier this month that has me a little stymied. On the front line of dealing with restaurant guests, we're trained that if there's a problem, fix it. Make the guest happy. If something's wrong, make it right. We want the guest to walk out the door happy, and God forbid, we don't want anyone to have a reason to write a bad online review. So solve the problem, solve it quick, and make the guest happy. Now, I can say that we do a pretty good job of that. We understand that we can't be all things to everybody, but if someone's upset, there might be a good reason for it. But after doing this for a while, I've also learned that we may think we've seen or heard it all. Some of our staff and managers may even become a little bit cynical, saying that person just had a bad day, or this woman is a Karen. We've all heard that before. This woman is a Karen who complains all the time. But let me say, that's a huge mistake. Yes, there might be people who are complainers, but please don't group everyone together and assume that it's just a one-off mistake. When I was a young manager, I was taught that for every one person who complains, there are 9 others who didn't say anything. I don't know where that info came from or how accurate it really is, but the truth is, there are guests, regardless of how bad their experience was, who will say nothing, and for whatever reason, they will say nothing and never come back to your restaurant again. But the guest who complains is giving you, 1, an opportunity to fix the mistake, which many restaurants do well, and 2, an opportunity to prevent the problem from happening again, which we're not so good at as a restaurant myself at Tiki's, but also as an industry. We don't always go deep enough to figure out what the problem is. We fix the problem, make sure the guests walk out the door happy most of the time, but what we often fail to do is figure out what went wrong in the first place. I've had guests complain about their steak only to find out that it all started to go sideways when the server was slow to greet the table. I've also had guests refuse to finish their meals because the food was unacceptable, and then learned that the hostess had rolled their eyes at them. So sometimes the problem they're complaining about is a real issue, like a bad steak or their meal. But once a guest complains about something, you really have to figure out what it is that made them start becoming overly critical in the first place. Or maybe something is wrong, like I said. Once a guest complained about our signature dessert, saying that it was disgusting. Our signature dessert that we brag about at Tiki's, she said it was disgusting. Surprised, because people tend to love our handmade 20-layer crepe cake. We inquired as to what she specifically didn't like. And as soon as the guest response was relayed to the chef, he immediately knew what was wrong and took the item off the menu. He knew when I described the taste of baking soda. He said a specific ingredient had been forgotten from the recipe and the cakes that day were made incorrectly. But had we not inquired further and just said, this lady's a Karen, we would have never known that all the cakes that day were bad. We went so far as to figure out what was wrong in the first place. So your task for today, remember that though you can't please everyone has something to learn from. Now go make it happen. Do you have a comment or a tip for restaurant leaders? Text me at 808-201-0550 or find me at restaurantleadership365.com. This is Bill Tobin. Thanks for coming in. See you tomorrow.